Rolling.
Oh, well, we are. Yes, we are.
Hit it.
Hit it.
Hit it. Hitting it is tonight's subject. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. This is the Catch the Sky podcast. I am your host, Sweet Tea.
Yeah, you are.
We are recording live from the Dick Francisco studio with Dick Francisco, and that voice you just heard is Saif, out of retirement again.
Circa Tom Brady.
Circa Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's
Circa
back.
Tom Brady.
And you just felt you felt compelled. You were inspired. See, I've seen a quote from Tom Brady recently, and it was just it was fuck them kids, and I could see how that would just inspire you to just get back out there.
I just love that Brady uses LFG and that he couldn't escape Arians. Arians would not let him go.
Well, what is hilarious is we were actually talking about Let's Fucking Go earlier, and how the NFL, they use it like in this like hype way, you know, but he was just filled with so much rage when he's screaming that. Like,
And now it's a thing.
but now everybody's like, oh yeah.
They've done so much to diminish his accomplishments. I think Deflategate is the example of that. And in general, just the accusations that he's a cheater. And in reality, no matter what you throw at him, Tom comes out winning. So
I've told you this forever.
Does that make him just a really good cheater?
So did you place a futures bet when he retired?
currently, the Packers are predicted to win the NFC, but Tampa is now number 2.
You should have. Yeah, but what were they at when he was gone?
I didn't trust it. Plus, I don't know what their wide receiver situation is.
I know, but that's one of those gambles that's worth like throwing $50 or $100 on, because the odds increase so much because he's gone that when he comes back, it's like you got him at those odds that nobody's ever going to get close to. But
I'll consider it.
it's too late now.
And just for the record, I never swore off gambling. I swore off fantasy sports gambling.
No. You swore off fantasy, but then later in the episode, because I was going to say the same thing. While re-listening to that episode, I did think that it was just fantasy, but then later in the episode, you said you're not gambling anymore.
Which we knew what you meant, but you did broadly say gambling.
Broadly.
You broadly said it, but we knew.
Well,
you were
the thing
talking
about
fantasy
Vegas
sports.
is I don't ever want to go back. And think about fantasy sports as a fantasy. There's no love in either of those areas. Vegas, no love.
Because Vegas is a fantasy. It's a fantasy land. Is
It's a
that
sweet,
fucking
sweet
Lucy
fantasy.
chewing on something?
No, it is her tail hitting the freaking floor of the
I
studio.
love it.
Over and over and over again. It's going to bust open and bleed everywhere.
Little Luce is in the house, wagging her tail because she's just as happy as a clam.
She loves me.
She's also a retard. It's a medical term.
Right.
She's
And
in the
it medically applies.
Para Dog Olympics.
Yeah, well, I not to get off subject at all, but I am petitioning that they have a Special Olympics of the dog show. You watch the dog show and all those, they're the elite of the elite, right? The way that they're bred, and come on, where's the one for dogs like mine? People would watch that. People would watch that.
Of course.
It's the same reason you're watching the Special Olympics.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
How's that for love, T? Is that for your love files?
South Park did a Special Olympics episode, and it was super offensive.
It is, but I'm allowed to make jokes like that because I have a retarded dog.
That's hitting her tail off of
I get a pass.
off of the table here. And like I said, hitting it is tonight's theme.
And it's episode 100.
Yeah, what are we hitting? Other than 100.
We're hitting it.
We're hitting it. We're hitting 100. Who's hitting it?
So help us celebrate our 100th episode by leaving us a comment or share this page on Instagram or Facebook by searching for the Catch the Sky podcast. You can catch us on Twitter at CTS Terry, at CTS Saif, or at I'm Dick Francisco, and you can find Dick on Instagram at the Dick Francisco.
I already told you can find so much dick on Instagram. It's everywhere.
And so you were saying tonight's episode, we're hitting it.
Yeah. Well, I was asking who's hitting it. What's being hit?
Well, let's do a pulse on things since our last Love Files was August of last year. I don't know what the fuck. How did that happen? How did we get this far without an update?
Clearly, there hasn't been a lot of love.
Well, yeah, we need an update. Everybody,
You had a dry spell, bro.
I'm basically still in a dry spell. So let's. All right. I'll start.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start.
Mm-hmm.
So from last year up until, let's see, we had last year summertime, and then obviously I got swept off my feet, came down here and got my dick kicked off, so I had to go fuck around in the sand, find it, dust it off, clean it off, all that fun shit. And nobody wants to play with a sandy dick, so it's just been a pretty dry spell up until I moved back to Pennsylvania. And at which point we just trucked the uncle fucker just a couple of times.
You should get some lube for that if it's that sandy and rough.
Abrasions.
Well, I told you that the uncle fucker came over the one night, and I definitely was suspecting that she had fucked somebody else already. Yeah. And so I needed the lube anyway because it was only going in the butt.
That's right.
It wasn't going anywhere near
Which
that fucking
brings me
trap.
to a great question. So you remember you remember my question though when you told me this was under the circumstances that you're not in a relationship with her, you're not in a monogamous relationship. Don't worry, Saif, we can get to you later.
Can we open the door? It's really hot in her. I'm ready to take off all my clothes.
We did all agree we were going to eventually do this naked.
Yes.
And it is episode 100. So start taking off articles of clothing. Who's going first?
This is the Love Files. Let's go.
Take off your shirt. Somebody take off their shirt.
Sweat lodge in here.
Yeah.
You betcha, baby.
Hot yoga studio.
It's all purpose.
So I asked the question when you said that and you're not in a monogamous relationship with her. It's not a relationship at all. You were just fucking her. But that you weren't cool with being like next in line, that she had just had sex with somebody else and then was coming over. And I was just questioning that.
Show some fucking respect.
So had she showered, you would have been okay.
Yeah, I even told that to her face.
Okay,
I was
it
like,
wasn't
They're
that
not supposed to put soap down there.
It wasn't that correct. It wasn't that she had fucked another dude that night.
No, go clean up.
It was just the cleanup factor.
Clean your fucking self up. I don't want whatever fucking leftovers could be potentially still there. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
Yeah, I'm sitting there finger blasting her, and it's fucking she's fucking soaked, and she's like, "Oh, you just make me that horny." I'm like, "No, you're probably fucking full of cum still from the last dude that you just got done fucking." So now I have to wash my hand off because this is fucking gross.
Okay, so this isn't one of those like marking territory things that's cool. I'm just asking questions here.
So if this was a situation, all right, like say me and the other guy had tag team her.
Yeah, so this comes to that whole MFM.
All right, so that situation I feel like would be a little bit more tolerable considering that you're all in it together. This is a team effort, right?
And it was all agreed to up
yes,
front.
Exactly. Whereas the other side it's more about the dishonesty. And that's actually what I said to her afterwards.
No, because if she had come to you and said, "By the way, I'm full of somebody else," and I didn't shower, you would not have been having that.
Oh yeah. But then she would have had no problem just going and taking a shower out of just being respectful because she has that level of respect already, right? Respectful enough to come over and say, "Hey, I got to shower out before we do this." Like, is that cool? Yeah. That's totally fine because you're not going to potentially expose me to any disease or anything like that.
So it sounds like you need
diseases don't just wash off.
So some don't, like herpes. Oh, we were supposed to have a button for that, T. You're gonna figure it out. But here's my question on all of that: is it seems like there's so many rules that are being imposed here.
Rules.
Yeah. Where that kind of seems to take all the fun out of it if we were just, I'm only saying this to you because you may have said this morning that you were down to just be a fuckboy again. And I'm like, does a fuckboy really care about all of that?
What? Oh, yeah, yes, because if the fuckboy cares about, because let's be honest, I'm still a human being, and I want to keep. It's all about survival. So the longer I can be a fuckboy, the better.
Right. So we're talking health and wellness now, not preference of.
Yeah, health and wellness is still important. And if you want to maintain the good times, you want to keep the good times rolling, then you got to be you got to be ready to go, right?
Well, that's where I come from. I've always said that to you guys on this show.
You can't be a fucking broke dick and expect to be getting around.
But you two are the ones that came to me talking about monogamy and not wanting to share and all of that.
The two Utes.
Yeah, you guys are the ones that said that to me, where I said,
well, the last Love Files was back in August 2020. Things have changed, Dick.
Okay. For some of you, right? All I was trying to suggest even at that time was that...
Did you hear our episode a few weeks ago? Changes in the air.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Okay. I got you all. It just... We were going from this wanting love, and now I get it. I get it that you're a fuckboy. Understood. But it still seems like there's so many rules then to being one, other than I just don't want to get herpes, or do I? I don't.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what about this seems to be like a rule? What do you think I'm like drawing or asking for something unreasonable?
Yeah. As a fuckboy, I do.
What? Yeah.
Like, who cares who is, like, as long as the agreement is that she is clean relative to not having STDs and making smart choices about who she's having sex with. Does it really matter if she just walked out of a room and had sex with a guy in there and then was walking into the room with you if you're a fuckboy? Yeah. And you're over here going, because I'm human. And I'm like, bro, have a fun time.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm talking about being human from a survival.
Yeah, but then you said, but it's different if it's a threesome. Good luck getting one of those, by the way. Just for the record, everyone. Threesomes are very, very difficult.
They're not as easy as they make it look like on in the movies. Right?
Or we're all just too old at this point.
We're aging out of the threesomes.
We're literally aging out of threesomes.
Based on the movies, I feel like that swinger culture.
Yeah,
you have to be much older.
Yeah, well, we're in that middle range, right? Where when you're in your 20s, like everything's just everyone's exploring.
Playtime.
It's playtime, 100%. You don't even realize you were just in a threesome, and then you get into your 30s and your 40s, and
it's a lot more effort. Yeah,
yeah. Fishing is so freaking hard. Fishing, just wow. And then we're Saif's talking about, like, by the time you're, like, in your late 40s, early 50s and on, you are just in it to win it swinging.
Well, yeah, because I think of that. See, and that's what I always say this, because that's what I want in a partner. Somebody that's going to be...
in it to win it to swing.
Open-minded. Yeah, basically, because we all know that at some point in your life, you're going to be tempted. And I feel like after 20, 30 years with somebody, you're just going to be looking around like, yeah, well, why not?
Tempted is such a weird, like... thing for my brain to comprehend, because it's not like temptation. We should just be having sex with people, right?
Well, yeah, but it's also, that's a two-way street, right? You can't just go fuck everybody that you know.
Well, we say, T, it's easier for the women to do that.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening here in this conversation right now.
I
think you guys are trying to manage your lack of, like, ability.
Women fuck what they want and men fuck what they can't.
Yes, that's your favorite line.
Yeah, it's
which is why you guys lock it down. Because
like NYPD.
That's why.
Yeah.
Well, that's why men historically lock it down.
Yeah,
for
100%.
Sure.
Whenever they say I can't breathe, that turns me on.
Jesus Christ.
Metaphorically, he likes it's like a hug.
God.
A constant hug.
Well, apparently when I'm on top of them, that you're suffocating them. And I didn't know. I've been doing this for years. Apparently not one partner bothered to tell me. But
again, some girls are into it. You don't know.
Some girls show me where the clit is, thank them.
Yeah.
As they come along. And then the others tell you, hey, you're suffocating me this whole time.
This whole time. Again, there's a niche of porn where the girls are into that. So that whole choking porn thing.
Is there a plastic bag involved?
Oh, could be. Don't make me Google it right now. No, T, put your phone down.
All right, so while I do that,
We do not need to see that. So I've
So-
always,
so, like,
yeah.
all right,
Go
so-
for it,
so-
fuck boy. Go for
yeah.
it.
So this is my thing. I don't know what happened in that room. I don't trust this person because if they're not being upfront to tell me about what happened, I can't trust that. I can't trust that she didn't just look at a dick that had fucking herpes all over it.
I'm going to call your bluff on this then.
Plow it anyways.
Because you told her to take a shower and then you'd be fine. Showers don't wash herpes off, bro.
Okay, well, there's
what
other...
does? Let me tell you what does wash herpes off.
What about... There are other STDs that are caused by bacteria.
Yeah.
Which can be washed off.
Sure.
So it's not just
But you're
herpes.
superhuman, T. You don't catch viruses.
I'm not worried about just herpes. There's a slew of other things out there that could be washed off. So I'm going to take the maximum precautions here, right?
No, you aren't. Not if you're fucking her after she fucked a dude that you just said might have herpes.
Did you use a condom?
Ooh, I would like to plug a condom company.
Ooh, private condom company. Here we go.
So I wasn't prepared for this because I didn't
And
know
because I was putting
condoms.
it in the butt.
Okay.
So it didn't.
Anal sex, no condoms.
It was.
Yeah, we did not just endorse that. Let's just be really clear.
Same. Make sure she takes a shower, though.
I just wanted us to be clear that that was an emotional response that I am not hating on you for, T. I was just trying to understand it. But the idea of her washing off the guy prior was more emotional than it was health and wellness at this stage.
Plastic bag porn definitely is a thing, by the way.
And the company that I wanted to plug was called PS Condoms. So PS, like you would write like at the end of the letter.
Small
PS,
business of the week.
PS Condoms. Damon Dice went from porn star to entrepreneur and started this company. So
Well, I like how it's PS condoms. So you get done having sex and then maybe a week later send this person a letter and you're like, oh, PS, like we probably should have used these because I
you
nutted
could,
inside
or it was a PS, you didn't even think about the fact that there was a condom on. Like it's an afterthought because you didn't even know it was there because it was that comfortable. Again, I don't use condoms, but if I did, I would at least try these. Because their whole thing is, we know your grandfather was a very handsome man, but do you really want to use the same condom as him? No. Great, because we're not your grandfather's condom.
Jesus Christ.
Look, he's a porn star, so he's not that smart. He is busy banging chick after chick after chick and not caring whether they shower, I'm sure.
Yeah, but a lot of these ladies are, we talked about all this on our Porn Stars episode 89. So go listen to that.
It was 72.
If you care to hear about the
Sidebar, I thought we were still watching the Bob Ross channel.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I looked up at a painting of Putin. And I got real confused.
Christ.
No, this is the Frontline special on Putin's war.
Got it. Because, wow. I was like, Bob Ross painted Putin one time. I missed that episode.
I think Jesus Christ. And we've done, yes, you're right. We've done a bunch of episodes on porn at this point. So we've covered that.
Yeah, we have.
That there's clean there. See, that's the thing. Do we trust? How do you know if you can trust somebody?
What a great question. I have been asked this question before when I have said my typical line, which is, first and foremost, I care about health and wellness. And so this isn't when I talk about that concept of an open relationship and the ability to go and have sexual relations with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And the first and foremost thing that matters to me of anybody that I'm going to have sex with is, are they making smart decisions that don't jeopardize me, or my partner or anybody
right
that's in my life? Because I take that very, very seriously. My health is all I have. And so that's my responsibility. And so are we then asking people to take STD tests, or how are we asking for that proof? It's a great question, because I have been asked that before. What would I require? What would I request? And it's not the sexiest conversation to have, right?
No, it's super annoying. And that's what's challenging with that individual is like they just can't even admit to what's going on. And,
sure.
and
So
think-
probably
and
not
just-
somebody you need to stick it in, you know?
Yeah. When you're in a drought that long, you're
You make questionable decisions.
Why-
definitely.
Why didn't you hit anything out here in the desert before you went home? I thought you had some opportunities there. Or maybe you have some opportunities now.
I think he's referring to Bev.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
About Bev.
I do appreciate that you didn't bring a bunch of tramps over to the house. You know, God knows what they would have stolen our silverware. Or
Didn't
something.
bring a bunch of Bevs
or
over.
took your scissors.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
No,
Well,
T
that's-
likes
But
to.
God knows what happens in my house when I leave.
Yeah, because you don't have cameras anymore, right? You needed to play the cricket sound over here.
Is there a cricket? Oh, there is a cricket sound.
Exactly.
Oh, that's perfect.
So obviously, T, we know there's plenty of other. Yeah, it just keeps going. Plenty of other, plethora, as you said, of STDs. You know, herpes is always one of those ones that comes up frequently.
Yeah, I understand
because-
that you're not just going to wash herpes off.
No. I just wanted to talk a little bit about herpes because obviously we don't go all the way to full-blown AIDS these days, right? You're like, oh my God.
Sex.
Yeah, let's talk about you and me. So I think AIDS is obviously not the one you run to, or HIV, you know, Hep, the Herp, and HIV. But herpes is one that
1 in
is
5 Americans have, according
Well-
to the CDC.
well, and it's interesting because there's different types, right? So there's 2 types of the herpes virus. So you see people when they have oral herpes, and then you have genital herpes.
Mhm.
Herpes being a virus in our body, and we have all kinds of viruses that run through our body. And so when somebody gets a cold sore, for instance, it's this whole taboo that happens. I've watched this happen with particular people that immediately get super self-conscious because of this concept that we've created in society, that if you get a cold sore or you have, you know, the herpes virus, it shows itself, that you should be shunned for it, or that you're dirty, or and I think that's such an interesting reality because of how our bodies respond to viruses. The fact that we, again, sometimes our bodies build immunities through getting a virus. And I think COVID has been something interesting that we've learned a lot about, you know, or should be learning a lot about viruses. But should we fear the herpes virus the way that we do? What was that sound? Was that your herpes? Is that you sucking the herpes off your lip right there that I'm not going to make fun of you for?
Oh, are you talking about this nice pimple I got earlier?
No, I can't even
Oh,
see
okay,
that until
okay.
you pointed it out.
Because
Like, I have one
got
right
a
here.
juicer earlier. It was fucking
Either way.
fantastic. Oh, it was
You
so
and me
good.
both.
Anyway, to answer your question. Yeah, so I'm not necessarily sending in my subscription for Herpes Monthly just yet.
Okay.
I'd like to hold off for a while. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't be willing, like if I had a partner, for example, that had this, I think a more serious conversation about how to handle it long term and approach that
Yeah.
is the more mature thing to do. Like you said, it's not the sexiest conversation, right? But that's
Never.
something that would need just to take place.
There's dating
And-
websites
and
just
you-
for people with herpes, so
And you got to understand the
they should stay off Tinder.
insecurities and stuff that we discussed before, and people's fears and insecurities. Like, you should be able to discuss that. Like, hey, I'm nervous that this is something that I could potentially get, and if this doesn't work out between us, that might limit my potential options, because I'm not everybody is as understanding as I am, right?
Well, I guess that's where I'm trying to figure out, though. I take something like herpes and say, like, I get HIV and AIDS, right? We saw from an epidemic standpoint.
It limits your options moving forward.
No, but hold on. I want to talk about the actual virus itself, where AIDS and HIV killed people. Like HIV then, you know, essentially turning into full-blown AIDS. It was epidemic and it killed people. And so I get why people were afraid of that, right? Syphilis can kill people. So the things that syphilis is, you know, when it impacts your body and affects, you know, things inside your brain and all of that is crazy. It's bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we go to herpes, and we talk about this as a virus that, lays dormant, and 2/3 of the population has at least one form of it. Primates have herpes too, HSV1 and HSV2, right? So you have mouth herpes and genital herpes. And are either of you familiar with what happens when you have herpes?
Is there butt herpes?
The site. I mean, you can get it around your ass too, but that would be considered your genital area.
Got it.
Got it. I mean, do you? No, I'm just kidding. He does not.
No.
He does not have it.
Got it.
Don't got it. No. So it's uncomfortable, right? So it's painful. It can be painful when you have an outbreak.
So that's
it's painful. It's itchy. It burns.
But that's the worst extent of it. It's like, obviously you're not going to die.
So that's my understanding of when the herpes virus, is causing an outbreak in your body, is when it shows itself. It's showing yourself in itchy or painful blisters, right? So I get it. Not sexy.
Yes.
I don't want to see a dick hit me in the face with, itchy, painful blisters all over it. Not super into that, right? Maybe there's herpes porn out there. You could look, T.
Lingerie, 1983.
But it's not going to kill you. So why do we then, this vilification of herpes is just interesting. I'm just curious where that came from, where the vilification of having herpes and getting herpes became oh my God, you have freaking herpes. Since it's a virus, right? Again, it lays dormant in many people, right? Like there's 3 of us sitting in this room, and according to statistics, 2 of us have at least HSV1 in our bodies. Right? So
Not
2 or 3 of us, 2 out of the 3 of us. No, highly likely it's not me.
I've never been tested for herpes.
Highly likely it's not me because I have a cure for herpes anyway. So, do you guys want to hear it?
Desitin?
No, it's bee propolis.
What is that?
So it comes from bees. It's like a byproduct from honeybees. And it is amazing and has like all these antiviral properties, and it also will stop you from getting sunburn, and it'll cure herpes, I swear. Look it up, kids. Get yourself some propolis. It'll also keep you healthy from never getting sick. I'm telling you, it's all purpose. That is not FDA approved, but I'm pretty sure nothing that we've said on this show so far has been FDA approved.
Jesus, yeah.
That was why I left that cliffhanger in our last episode where we talked about herpes, was I don't know how, obviously I'm not over here like trying to get herpes, right?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, it's not from a...
But why do we care so much about herpes? Like, Saif just said, stay off Tinder and you got your own dating website for herpes.
I guess without having had it, right, it's difficult to say how painful that is or can be, right?
Well, yeah, because it's also not like you're in a constant state of herpes outbreak, like Herpesville. It's just like outbreaks can happen.
But when it does, how painful is that pain?
I don't know, but you should probably not be fucking anybody at that point, right? Keep it in your fucking pants.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't whip out your blisters at me.
But that doesn't mean your blisters aren't still painful.
Oh, for sure.
Because we don't know if these are regular blisters. We're just comparing them to the pain that we do know.
Yeah, honestly, the thought of a blister on your dick probably sounds pretty terrible.
What about a blister up inside your vag?
I don't know. Do they crawl up there?
I don't know.
Either way, I can put suppositories up there. I can stick weed up there all day long, and I'm sure it makes it better.
That's how I approach most of my problems.
Right? Coconut oil and weed, y'all. Just
smoke a ton, and it'll be fine. Oh, you're coughing up a lung. You're dying of COVID. Just smoke another blunt.
Yep.
Saif can attest. That was 2
Daily
days.
diet, yeah.
2-3 days. I was back to.
So that's the crazy thing too, that I look around this room at the 3 of us, and like, speaking of clean bills of health, how have we gotten this far without STDs, y'all?
Right?
Jesus.
I know it said we did the 100th episode, but I've survived more than 100.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
I've had the chlamydia scare and like the gonorrhea scare, but
yeah,
beat them all.
I think it's because I don't take bubble baths.
Epsom salt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And coconut oil. And propolis.
No, like I haven't had a pregnancy scare. There's been no pregnancy scares. None.
I've had plenty of those.
Nothing.
Not anymore, though.
So
I mean, they're
just your
only-
weekly
They're
reminder to
only
get your
scary
vasectomies,
until they don't
boys.
exist anymore, right? Where did that bug go? For real?
It's still behind you guys.
Is it
somewhere.
behind me?
You're gonna be fine.
I'm
It's-
gonna kill it.
It will fly away eventually. I'm not worried about it.
Okay, fine. It might have herpes though.
Oh God, kill it.
Do you think we could get herpes from that bug? No, because only primates, chimpanzees.
Because it's permanent. That's why we vilify herpes. Because it's permanent.
Well, so are children, but we seem to love those.
It's different because
And they're more-
not in this room.
Arguably, children are more painful than a blister on your dick occasionally. Jesus.
Would you? Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
Children cause more pain than herpes, right?
Would you rather take
I'd rather have
herpes
herpes than
temporarily? Yeah.
a child. I'd rather have herpes than a child. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. What
I think
about
that's
you,
what
Saif?
Tom Brady was ready to retire, but he'd rather be
Yeah.
hit by 300-pound linemen rather than play with his own kids.
Right now, if you had to
Fuck
choose
them kids.
herpes or a child.
I want a child.
Oh God, is that the next Love Files episode? Yeah. T, you might have just made a drastic error.
I want babies.
You said this room doesn't want children, but
Well, if I had to choose between herpes and a child, I'll take the fucking I'll take the child.
really?
Yeah,
That's for life.
I know. Why not? I've become more tolerant. The dog came into my life to teach me patience.
You seen what a bastard I am?
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Teaching patience.
The amount of pain children cause.
You've taught me so much, T. I've grown and changed.
Oh yes.
After the initial infection, genital herpes lies dormant in the body. Symptoms can recur over years. And you're going to pick a child over genital herpes.
But I also I've been wanting a legacy, and I'm a Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah,
so-
you can spread herpes all over the goddamn world. We just made it real clear. It's very contagious.
But they're not.
I'll take the kid.
It wouldn't
I
be-
want the kid now.
It wouldn't
He
be
wants a
special.
What's
kid?
behind door number 3? I don't know.
He wants a kid now.
Yes, this
He
is
wants
the
a kid.
this is the money problem, right? You always want to switch the door that you picked.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. Let's create a poll on Instagram and see if one person will at least.
yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll
Okay.
create a poll, and it'll
Okay.
be herpes,
or something in a box. It's my
children,
dick in a box.
or the mystery box.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's my dick in a box.
That one's a tough one. If there's a third mystery box, which could easily also have a child in it,
Oh
you
yeah,
don't know.
you have no idea what could be in the third mystery box.
Man, wow. Is that how much I hate herpes in children at that point? That I go with the mystery box? I don't know if I can now. I was just looking for a compelling argument to not choose herpes over a child.
It's my dick in a box.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Right.
get over it.
All right. So there's my shtick on herpes, guys.
Okay.
Is that I think we villainize people that have herpes. And I'm the first to do it. Remember, I said, yeah, you're not going to get anywhere near me if you know.
Wouldn't even use the toilet.
I know. If you have herpes, I'm not touching any of it.
I
right?
use the toilet.
It's true. I do too now.
Now you use the toilet.
Now I use the toilet. Yes.
So you're taking the herpes then.
And I'm taking the herpes. I'm
See?
taking the herpes.
What are you going with?
Herpes or a child?
I'm taking that kid. We pawn him off.
Yeah. They can tax credits.
Wow.
It's tax season, people. Get your shit done.
Am I
There
the
it is. There's
only
the bug.
one
Kill it.
without?
Kill the bug.
Am I the only one without maternal instincts in this room?
Well, this is what
Crazy.
I'm saying.
I don't know. You were doing jumping jacks the other day, so I thought you were doing a great job parenting.
I was.
Could I just be like a
I kicked that child's ass for the
I
record.
could be like a
You did.
surrogate, like I'll produce this child, but then I'm gonna sell it to somebody else and just watch it
No,
from afar.
you have to have a child that is yours, or you have to have herpes that are yours.
Well, it's still my child. It's just I'm not raising
Oh,
it.
get out.
Is there a
Fine.
way that I can give my herpes to somebody else?
Yeah, you can give it to all kinds of people.
Can
That's kind of the point.
But can I forward it without having to accept responsibility for
No.
it? No, that doesn't work.
No. That's what I'm saying. Both require responsibility. Which one would you rather have? Ooh, what does a herpes sore look like? That just popped up.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I want to know, what's the worst thing that we could put in the mystery box to really fuck with somebody to make this a more
God
challenging?
damn.
I guess it's less of a
A
mystery.
VCR.
Less of a mystery then, huh?
A VCR, he says.
It'd be something Egyptian.
All right, so where do we take this Love Files from here? Saif is clearly doing just fine in the Love Files department because he wants a child at this point. Is that because of your age? Is that what happens? Because I can attest to that as a female, that I go through that phase consistently of logically knowing there's no need to bring children into this world, but like maternal instinct telling me that I'm supposed to want a child. And kid energy is fucking awesome. So like all of that happening, is that what's happening to you at your age as a man?
I wanted kids initially.
Okay.
Then I said overpopulation was real.
Yes.
And there wasn't any point.
And then Russia invaded Ukraine.
And I got my tubes tied.
And then there was a pandemic that was demonstrating the realness of the
I got
overpopulation.
my tubes tied. So I have had a vasectomy. I think this was covered on episode.
Vasectomy.
Yeah. One of those episodes.
An episode vasectomy.
Was that the Control Your Child episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
May have been. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as I've gotten older, I've been berated more and more by my father, who insists that the legacy of our family won't be carried on.
So it isn't about you, it's about what your father has said to you.
That's one other reason. But
Got
at the
it.
same time,
Don't you have siblings? Can't one of them carry the torch? What's going on here?
No, that ship has flown too.
Well, then.
So we're screwed, at least on my father's side. But
That-
within the family,
You tell him he can have another kid, right?
that's what I told him. It was his job to at least set me up, like arrange a marriage or something. I feel like if he really wanted me to have a kid, then he should have brought one of these virgin brides over from Yemen.
Mhm.
Well, why? I mean, he can crank out another kid too, though, and leave it to him.
I don't know
That
what
could be
age
his
a man's
problem.
virality stops in their semen. Like at one point, I know women over 30 have more difficulty, and then over 40, yeah, good luck there. But yeah, you got to be.
Which is it's just funny because he's right. He's got a point, right? And then when people that are open, again, it's not that if I was with a person that wants to have children,
Sure.
I'm not going to deny them if it's going to make our relationship better, right?
So you would have a byproduct, aka a child, to strengthen your relationship with someone.
That is the only reason that you should have them.
No, oh my God, we're gonna do a new episode on this because
I'm not saying that like, oh, our relationship is failing, let's have a child. I'm saying the only reason that, like, when you have a kid, it shouldn't be, oh my God, I want to have a kid and like make this kid my first priority, because then you're neglecting your partner and the relationship that you built with them.
yes,
That you built strong enough to get to that point.
agreed.
It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna hit cruise control now and pop this kid out with them and everything is gonna be cool. No, like, you built a really strong relationship with them. You need to maintain that. And if you have a kid because you want the kid and it's not about your relationship, you are going to degrade that relationship that you established, and you are going to lose that person because you pumped out something else. You get what I'm saying?
That I agree with. I think the decision to
That's
bring
what I was getting at.
life into the world has to do everything with the responsibility of being the conduit for that human being to become something in the world beyond yourself. And so I think, relationship or otherwise, with somebody, that's what it needs to be about, because otherwise it's selfish, and we're all products of that. I can see it.
Well, and so,
Like the concept of child raising and choosing to have a child being a selfish reason will fuck up your child.
and that's where I think you need to demonstrate to them that they're not the center of the world.
Oh, sure.
You
But
don't
I think
want
you have
them-
to acknowledge.
You don't want to instill that entitlement and selfishness.
Yeah, but before
in
you
them,
get there, you have to decide why you're having a child. So that's why I asked Saif.
which is exactly.
And his was about a legacy of passing along something. And I was like, oh,
So what you just said, though, you have to decide why you're having a child.
yeah.
Is you have to ask yourself, what is our life and relationship together going to look like after we have this
Oh,
child?
absolutely.
Are we still going to be these happy people, or are
Yeah.
we going to be like Bev and be in these fucking, situations that we're in? And it's
Yeah, don't be a Bev, basically.
yeah, and it's just like, dude, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you box check. So that's
'Cause
why I'm
is
trying
that-
to figure
is
out
that-
the right reason to have children.
Is that enhancing Bev's relationship? Right?
No, absolutely not.
Precise. That is why I'm saying you need to be having
I
children to
know.
enhance your relationship.
Well, and I'm
not-
trying to say
it-
no.
You still I'm not saying you just pump them out and neglect the kid, but they need that kid. When you see that kid, should make you feel more connected to your partner.
Okay.
And it shouldn't just be like
That feels like a huge burden on that child. But I'm trying to figure out what
I'm not saying you say that to the child, but that should be
Well, I
that
would
should
say
be
everything to my child.
that should be the feeling that you would have inside.
I am trying to
naturally.
figure out what the right reason to have children is. Because I can tell you again from that physiological standpoint, like Saif is saying over there, whether it's a biological clock or otherwise, I've gone through it for the last 20 years of my life of, as a female, feeling that drive intensely on the physical side to reproduce. Like it's real as a female, especially.
Well, and that's why there was
And so take that out of it though. What is the reason we should have children? Why should we have children? Aside from that emotional response that my body is, again, physiologically and mentally telling myself to, because I'm supposed to. I mean, 100%, we were built to reproduce. And so my body tells me to reproduce. My mind tells me to reproduce.
It's almost like we're like herpes or a virus.
Okay.
We're built to reproduce, because that's something I was reading about, the flu virus. There's so many different strains of the flu virus, right? The virus didn't mutate to become stronger to kill people, because that's not in a virus interest. A virus interest is spreading. That's it.
It's in numbers.
It doesn't want to kill its host.
Quantity.
Yes, it doesn't want to kill its host because
it needs
then
you alive to
it-
spread you.
Precisely. So humans are, we're like that.
That's why herpes are great. They won't kill you. They're there to spread.
Jesus Christ.
Spreading the love. Right. No, it's such an interesting, this was not where I expected this Love Files to go. And I'm happy that it did, because I think it kind of points out, where we're all at in our lives
that
too.
humans are herpes?
Yeah, that we're 100% just a big herpy, right?
On the planet.
We're all just herpes on Earth's dick, right?
Right.
Or just a blister on Earth's dick. And I just, and we rear our heads occasionally. But no, it's not a question that I say that there's a right answer to. I would suggest I have my own, determination of what's right. No different than you, Saif, no different than you, T. But just asking that question, because I've had to grapple with it again for 20 years of my life, relative to, if not longer, relative to the feeling of the urge to be a mother and that concept of maternal instinct. I get all of that physiologically. I'm supposed to have that happen to me. But we have lots of things that are primitive in us as humans that we urge against or don't do because of a civilization and a complexity of the human brain and where we have evolved to. And so I'm trying to figure out, in the context of this environment that I'm in, why should I have a child? What would be the right reason to have a child?
I don't think you don't need to, right? I think there's a lot of children who, this is my argument about abortion, that people talk about abortion, but they're unwilling to adopt. And there are thousands of children who
so expensive.
leave the system at 18. They end up in jail, homeless. It's not good for unadopted wards of the state, right?
Yeah.
So there are young people out there. So there's mentoring opportunities, these types of things. I think that would be more fruitful as far as that. That's the role I've taken to a degree. I try to help the youths, and otherwise I don't have to create a child myself.
Yeah.
There's other ways I can have an impact, because in my roles that I've done over my life, I've noticed that parents are fucked up. They've screwed up, and as a result, their children are punching holes in walls.
Well, yeah, they're a byproduct of it. That's why I'm saying I'm trying to figure out. I'm not saying it even for myself. I think I'm acknowledging my role in children's lives in general and how to impact children. I'm thinking more in if I were at that stage of wanting to make that decision, look, I can't either. But if I were in that that decision-making stage to say, I want to determine if I should have a child or not, what should be that determining factor? That's all. Because the suggestion of it being an enhancement to a relationship is that to discount people who choose to have a child that aren't in a partnership. Because you guys have already heard how I feel about partnerships too.
Right.
So does that mean that somebody who proclaims herself to be in an open relationship shouldn't be allowed to have a child either, or doesn't maintain primary partners shouldn't have a child?
What is their reason? I guess what is their reason for having the kid?
That
This is like a why and why not thing.
Question on the table, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And that's
at least I have a fucking good reason.
Well,
if they just want to have a kid because
I'd argue your reason isn't a good one, but
because they feel compelled because
I think that couple should get a fucking dog then. That's all. If they want their relationship enhanced, get a fucking dog.
Oh no, yeah.
At least start there,
right? No.
Try a few cycles of that too, because sometimes you get a retard like this one.
Right. And
who wants to take care of Corky?
Nobody, right? But a Corky could pop out, At least this one, 10 years later, I can start again.
Right. I'm good with that too.
No shit.
But I think raising a child obviously provides a whole bunch of new learning opportunities.
A lot of people say it's life-changing.
Right.
Well, and it should be, right? It 100% should be. But with that change in life, what are we doing with that life change to make the world a better place? Right.
Well, and so that's what I'm saying. So,
like, being a father suddenly made you better at everything else that you contributed.
I drive
to
a Prius.
Are you just having a kid just because you're looking to mix it up? You want to change in life?
I drive an electric bike right now. That's not mine. It's dope.
I want to change in scenery. So I'm
not one of these assholes complaining about gas prices because I drive a monster truck to haul all my children in that I shouldn't have had in the first place.
We just talked about how expensive minivans are too. What?
They're stupid. That's
Stick your kid in a station wagon and fucking live with it.
Well, yeah, that's why my grandfather's hoarding them.
Yeah.
No, and he's got like 10 minutes.
I'm not saying there's a right answer on the table at all for this. I'm saying it's I don't
think there's any answers on this table.
I think there's zero answer. It's a really clean table, actually. It's super clean.
The table, this is great.
This table is amazing.
The mug on the table that you have. That is
yeah, the
but
ASU mug.
Yeah, but just like our fucking...
You know how expensive college is when you have a kid, motherfuckers?
Yeah. But just like the end of a lot of our episodes, we don't have any answers here. We don't. No, we need some sort of answer.
Someone tell me why I should have a child. I mean, I'll go get one. I don't have to have one. Duh.
See, and that's what I'm saying.
You can pick one up.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You said adoption's expensive. Everything's expensive.
Oh, but the tax breaks. Better than an electric vehicle.
Right. But we're also talking about the child raising experience. If you want that life altering experience, do you have to actually birth the kid, or can you just go
feel more connected? It's that emotional connection. You can't make.
Well,
people argue you can't have an emotional connection.
Yeah,
with
but
that didn't fall.
But I've also argued.
Well, then
that,
how's the dad supposed to have an emotional connection to her? Because
listen,
never came out of his
that
vagina.
baby ain't my.
Listen, you didn't know until you went on Jerry Springer, so shut the fuck up. You thought it was yours anyways.
Oh, sidebar from Jerry real quick to Maury.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Maury too, yes.
Oh yeah, he did this thing with fucking olives. Oh my God.
Love olives.
This woman had like an irrational, she has a fear of olives or whatever.
Okay.
And he's like, so you're afraid of olives? And she's like, oh God, yeah, I hate them. Like I've just been terrified of my whole. And he's like, well, bring out the olives. And they fucking bring out a big jar of them. And she
shouldn't have children.
She goes scream like blood curdling screams, like she's shoving employees out of the way, running backstage and stuff. And Maury's trying to. he's like. Kathleen or whatever her fucking name is. He's like,
sure wasn't Bev.
Yeah, Bev.
Bev.
Come back.
This is where I go, cool story, bro. Back to this whole concept of a baby falling out of a vagina, though. I have already argued, Saif is over here suggesting that the connection wouldn't be the same. And I have suggested that there is a point where our human, and I have said this before and people have fought me on it, our human brains grew really fucking fast inside our skulls. And so we became complex mental human beings, like no joke. And that connection and that emotional connection that biological women in particular have with their biological children is an intense relationship that more often than not, I feel like, is one that we are not prepared to be able to handle. Why is postpartum depression so common? When a woman and has biologically gives birth to her own very flesh and blood, why does she have that happen? Can we answer that question? Why that emotional connection to birthing something that grew inside of you for 9 months is so mentally impactful for women, and obviously not all women. And I'm not trying to make an over, generalized statement here, but we know over the course of years that reality for women as mothers to their children is an intensity that many, many people struggle to actually manage. Is that connection really the most healthy one for raising the best productive human beings in this world? Or do we feel that we could be far more effective, or at least have a level of effectiveness that reduces that connection, that doesn't cloud our thinking and our thought process and how we raise those children to raise the best human beings, because that emotional connection actually gets in the way of our best decision making?
See? It's a win-win.
I'm just asking.
No, we have to define, what does it mean to raise
And what about those
a good child?
I just don't think biological women should raise their own children.
Well, what about the children that are...
Because they're fucking crazy. Mothers, as soon as women become mothers, they become bevs, 100%.
What about the kids that get adopted by parents that don't tell them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's plenty of...
Right.
Plenty of them.
Even just this concept, though, of the nuclear family is already the problem. When we have gotten away from a village raising children where it matters that you biologically popped out of that one versus that one versus that one is our problem, because we were not meant to operate that way. Our mental fortitude is not there to manage that mental and physical burden both. On the fact that we are solely raising this child that came out of us is not how we're supposed to operate. Because that woman who biologically birthed that child should also be capable of showing that much love to the other woman's child that popped out of her. And they should be able to swap those children all day long, right? All day long.
Child swap.
Oh my God, new show.
Pretty sure they already
It does
have
take a
it.
village, though.
It should take a village. And we moved away from that. And so nuclear families.
I'll say it again. The natives had it right.
Yes.
They had a lot of shit right.
That's what I'm saying, though. But everybody also fucked each other, didn't care who showered tea, so.
Well, showers weren't a thing back then.
They also didn't care who fingered who after who.
They took baths.
I'm just saying, not bubble baths, so. Yeast infections were at an all-time low. I'm just saying.
No, and daycare is expensive, and that's the reason why women aren't able to go back to work, and that's been the void in this economy.
Because we built a nuclear family where that female is supposed to 100%
commercialized
feel
daycare, like
she is supposed to be the ultimate provider for that child. And think about that type of connection is so unhealthy for any individual. Codependency at its finest. Codependency doesn't bring out the best in anyone. You don't get to have codependency when you're suddenly working in a village mentality because you're too busy also having to give to those children that aren't yours.
Yeah.
So all day long, I am happy to pop out babies and birth children and raise them in a village concept where we're building the next generation. But that's just not the society that I live in.
Yeah, no.
So that's the only way I should have a child, is if I live in a village commune.
Yes.
Got it. I gotta go find me one of those.
Right.
Preferably a nudist one.
Right. Yeah. I think these are I think they refer to them as cults now. They want to scare us away from them.
Back to episode cults.
Right.
I can't remember the number. When you get to 100, there's just so many. We can't remember them all.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed this Love Files, guys.
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to fill us in on your guys's... I told you what I've been up to, but what about you guys?
More like what I'm not up to. I'm not having children.
Not having children.
I mean, not for lack of practice, but I'm not having children either.
Yep. No,
not for lack of practice.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We're all over here trying not to be bevs.
I get everything I want. It's like every day is my birthday.
Well, that's good.
Every day is my birthday, he said.
I'm not getting you a present every day, though, so I'm sorry.
And I was like, because I was there for your birthday last time, I think. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's a little karaoke and,
Once a year on my
peanuts
birthday.
and pretzel mix.
Once a year on his birthday, I do that for him. And I appreciate it.
Oh, Jesus.
He's getting it for free, too. It's like his birthday over there, too.
No, I'm not. And I'll say that the only reason that we hooked up with the uncle fucker anyway.
I was talking about the anal sex, by the way.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The
It's
only
an anal sex reference in case you missed it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The only reason I'm hooking up with the uncle fucker.
What's behind
anyway.
door number 3?
And the only reason that there was, I would say, an extra level of emotion in that situation is there's a previous relationship there.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And one that was very, very terrible.
Right.
So.
Way to go back to that well, T.
Listen. And that's what I'm saying.
Kidding. I'm
so
kidding.
if you're going to hit it, you definitely don't want to go back to that well and then get fucking gonorrhea or some stupid shit.
For sure.
Right? That would be extra stupid.
Definitely.
Doubly stupid.
Yes, everyone. No one wants the gonorrhea from that well.
So be sure to wash your balls.
And clean your wells. Wash your balls and clean your wells, people. All right. I got to go clean my well.
All right. And if you care to comment or subscribe, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you listen to podcasts by searching for the Catch the Sky podcast. On Twitter at CTS Terry, at CTS Saif, at I'm Dick Francisco, and you can find Dick on Instagram at the Dick Francisco. Be sure to share us with your friends, since that was also the part of our theme
share us
tonight.
with somebody, for God.
Yeah.
Send it to your grandparents.
You're just a herpes. Spread yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's in line with the theme of tonight's episode. Threesomes, share the love, and if you're not going to share the love, then you can share the herpes.
If anyone has threesome tips, tell us, because the world is suffering to have threesomes.
Well, here's I almost stumbled my way into a foursome the other day, but I feel like just as quickly as the door opened, it closed. I feel like when you get all 4 people on the same wavelength and they're thinking about it at the same time, you just got to strike when the iron's hot. Like, not like, oh, we're all going to hang out later and check the vibe, because the vibe is happening right then. When
I feel like
all
foursomes,
4 of you are talking about it, you just go for, you have to swing.
Foursomes are way easier to stumble into than a threesome, though.
I feel like that's the case.
It is. That is the moral of the story.
That's what happened the other day. I was like, what is happening?
It's 1 + 1 = 2 + 2 = 4. There's no 3 in there.
Right, exactly.
There's no 3.
Even numbers, right?
We're only working in even numbers, kids. Yep, it's a math problem.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us this week. Until next week, keep trying to catch the sky.